I'd like you to try to recall your first flight experience. What was it like? Were you excited, nervous? Did you notice anything other than the sky view? No, I remember my first time on a plane, seeing how my big city started to look small and how the clouds that had always been so far away to me were so close to my window that I felt I could stretch and feel their fluffiness. The experience was magical. When I got down, I could not wait to share it with everyone I knew. To rise above the earth and commune with the clouds, it must feel incredible. But the truth is, flying was a luxury that I was able to experience then and many times later on. But for many more others, especially girls coming from rural backgrounds, the mere idea of leaping into the sky would forever remain just a dream. A shame, I thought, that some humans could never fly. But as I flew more, I started to notice something different. Though the sky still amazed me, I noticed that out of 100 times of flight experiences, I have yet to see a single female pilot. So I did a research on a small airline company and a large airline company. The statistics I found were astonishing. In the small company, the number of male pilots is 120 times that of female pilots. In the large company, it's 300 times. Well, no wonder why I've never met any female pilots. So I decided that I wanted to make a change. So earlier this year, I launched my Cloudward Aviation Project, a program designed to give rural girls from Yunnan area real on-site pilot training. My plan is not just to give them a chance to fly, but to learn how to fly. However, when our partnership organization reached out to parents, we got an unexpected yet similar response from multiple families we reach out to. Girls? Aviation? Well, we would love you to train our sons, but our daughters? That's not in our consideration. That shocked me entirely. And you want to know what was even more shocking? Our program was entirely 100% free. This meant that we were requiring nothing from the parents. But their refusal to enroll meant that the cost to give their daughters a chance to try, even if when the cost was zero, was still too much to bear. Our program was free, I realized, but most of our candidates were not. A shame, I thought, that some humans were not allowed to fly. So finally, we managed to recruit several girls to go to Shenzhen to receive further pilot training, but only to find out more to the story. I spoke to one of the girls and I asked her the real reason why she was able to come, and she told me, "My dad's a truck driver," she said. "He just happens to have a car to drive me to the airport." Now, when I first started my program, my vision was to ensure that I want more girls to experience the magic of flying. My initial thesis was that for rural girls, the main barrier was financial. But I made a mistake that so many other policymakers do, oversimplifying the problem. It was not just about money. In fact, I could infer from the interaction of the parents that they would have been more willing to pay a fee for their boys to attend than to let their daughters attend for free. The main problem was never financial, but a matter of faith, the perceptions. Girls don't become pilots simply because people don't believe that they can become pilots. But on the surface, it looks like, oh, it's about money, or that girls just simply aren't interested enough in these fields. So what we see is like an iceberg here. We're trying to engage the tip of the iceberg when it's just 10% of the whole mass of the problem. But the real iceberg is what is below. The perceptions and beliefs that keep the structure alive. And that's what sank the Titanic, by the way. And in that same story, while women were given preferences on lifeboats, many women around that time couldn't even choose their spouses or even vote. We are so quick to try to keep our girls from dying, but we refuse to let them truly live. So, how do we crack these huge icebergs of stereotypes? Well, I believe the change lies in the changing of our perception. So I've come up with a solution called DIVE. And DIVE stands for dissect, invent, visualize, and embrace. Now, the first keyword is to dissect. To dissect is to never be satisfied with surface explanations. A very useful tip that I picked up along the way is to always ask yourself questions. Is what everybody believing in necessarily true? Are there more reasons that I cannot see for now? By constantly asking ourselves questions, we remain skeptical and open. Let's take a funny and extreme example. Let's say aliens exist. Well, the point is not to debate over, oh, aliens exist, no, aliens don't exist, but why you believe so. It's okay to say that aliens exist, but what are your reasons? If you don't believe aliens exist, what are your evidence? The point is, don't just believe in what people tell you. Question it, investigate it, and you may find that there's often more than one side of the story. After dissecting the root causes, the next step is to invent. When I first had the idea of wanting to help girls and breaking gender stereotypes, I had no clear clues of what to do exactly. Donate money, launch a program, or raise awareness. That all sounds plausible, but there was no avenue provided for me. Eventually, I decided to invent my own path. I decided to start my own program. And the same concept is applicable in real life. Not everything is handed to you on a silver platter. A lot of the times, you have to create opportunities for yourself and create an environment that suits you when there is none provided for you. Thirdly, visualize. Mentally visualizing the new reality impacts the physical outcome. For example, just like athletes visualizing their performance before a game, we must see ourselves succeeding in order to make that a reality. Lastly, embrace. Embrace bold changes. This is essentially to tell all of us here to think beyond what's possible. For example, aside from tackling gender stereotypes in aviation, what about other issues in aviation? Inconvenience to old people, disabled people? What about other issues in our world? Well, we don't need to have everything sorted out for now, but it's important to always embrace what comes next and embrace new possibilities. By following the DIVE method, our project made a difference. After the first stage of the training, I had some of the girls came up to me asking me what more they could do to pursue a piloting career. Well, I know that perhaps not all of them would become pilots, but it was undeniable that their world had been expanded. Expanded to include dreams that they were told were impossible. And for the first time in their life, they had been allowed to dream, see, and desire more. Now, I know some of you might be questioning, why aviation? Why teach girls to fly instead of teaching them, for example, to code? Well, if you ask me, I would say that it probably all comes down to my first magical experience on a plane. I was too young to know the real mechanism behind how planes take off, but flying gave me a feeling that I could go anywhere I want. The excitement of getting closer and closer to the clouds and being farther away from the world below. The feeling of freedom. These are the precious feelings that I wish every girl to have. You see, a plane's ability to take off depends on more than just the runaway. It's about the forces of lift and thrust, overcoming drag and gravity. Well, the same is true for girls and women. It's not just financial barriers or the physical obstacles. A lot of the times, it's those invisible forces, perceptions and stereotypes and beliefs that keep them grounded. But when we crack through the surface, when we challenge the assumptions that hold us back, we create the power to rise above. Our perceptions are like the wind beneath our wings. If we can change the way we see the world and each other, we can help more women take flights, reaching heights that they were once told were impossible and forbidden in their life. So as you leave today, I want you to think of yourself as a pilot of change. Dive beneath the surface, and by dive, I mean dissect, invent, visualize, and embrace. Challenge the assumptions and help create a world where every woman has the space, the runaway, and the sky to soar. Thank you.